Dajjal, the false Messiah, is a being created by Allah Most High who would impersonate the Messiah and deceive the Jews into believing that he is the true Messiah. The key to understanding what is going on in the world today is to understand Jerusalem in the Quran. The reason that Britain gave the Holy Land to the Jews, the reason that America is supporting and funding and financing this state of Israel, and the reason that Israel is able to get away with literally murder with no consequences is because the leader of Israel is the Antichrist, is Dajjal, the false Messiah. And when the false Messiah comes into our dimension of space and time, he's going to be a leader in Israel, in the unholy state of Israel, and he's going to claim that he is the Messiah. And the Jews rejected Jesus when he first came, and they're still waiting for their Messiah. So when they see Israel in a state of dominance, with its borders expanded, with this individual claiming that he's the Messiah, they're going to claim victory. But the truth is that Allah has sent Dajjal, the false Messiah, to deceive them, to gather them all back into the Holy Land so that a punishment can come upon them like a punishment no one has ever seen before. There are two groups that are looking forward to the return of the true Messiah, the real Messiah, and that Messiah is none other than Jesus, the son of Mary. In the Quran, he's described as Al-Masih. That's Arabic for Messiah. Al-Masihu Isa ibn Maryam, the Messiah, the son of Mary, Nabi Isa, the prophet Jesus. So past the geopolitical analysis of what's going on, you always need to remember that everything that's going on in the Holy Land and the surrounding areas and the world for that matter is all a build-up to the manifestation of Dajjal in human form and the fitna, the trials and tribulations that will bring, which will be followed by the return of Isa, the return of Jesus, the son of the Virgin Mary, who, when he returns, will kill Dajjal. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min nari jahannam wa min adhabin fil qabr wa min fitnati al-mahya'i wal-mamat wa min sharri fitnati al-masih ad-dajjal. This is a dua, a prayer, a supplication that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made in every single prayer, and he taught it to the companions and taught it to his ummah. And in this dua we seek protection from the evil of the trials of the false Messiah, the Antichrist, Dajjal. Another thing that we must do is recite Surah Al-Kahf, the chapter of the cave, every Jumu'ah, every Friday, because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam described this as a protection against the Dajjal. And the reason we need to protect ourselves from the Dajjal is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam described his fitna, his trials and tribulations, as the greatest fitna to ever afflict mankind from the time of Adam alayhi salam. Dajjal, the false Messiah, is a being created by Allah Most High who would impersonate the Messiah and deceive the Jews into believing that he is the true Messiah. Dajjal was endowed by Allah Most Wise with awesome power, versatility, and with great capacity for deception and guile. The Christians know him as the Antichrist. Dajjal, the evil being created by Allah Most High, will one day appear in the world as a human being. When he does so, he would be a Jew, and in addition, he would be a young man who would be powerfully built with curly hair. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam suspected a Jewish youth, Ibn Sayyad, who was resident in Medina, to have been the Dajjal. In doing so, he confirmed that Dajjal had already been released into the world and would one day appear as a human being, a Jew, a young man. The true Messiah, like Solomon alayhi salam, would rule the world from the throne of David alayhi salam, i.e. Jerusalem. In order for him to do so, it would be necessary for him to first accomplish the following. 1. Liberate the Holy Land of the rule of those who do not worship the God of Abraham. 2. Bring the chosen people who at the time of the announcement of the divine promise were Jews, back to the Holy Land. 3. Restore the state of Israel established by David alayhi salam and Solomon alayhi salam. 4. Cause Israel to become the ruling state in the world. Only then would it be possible for the true Messiah to rule the world from the throne of David, i.e., from Jerusalem. If Dajjal, the false Messiah, were to successfully impersonate the true Messiah, it follows from the above that he also would have to do all of the above. The question may arise in consequence of the statement made above. If Dajjal, the false Messiah or Antichrist, is responsible for this grand deception of the Jews and so much more, and if he's already released and already on earth, then where is he? The Prophet spoke in what may be recognized as the mother of all puzzles and said the following about Dajjal, the false Messiah. Narrated An-Nawas ibn Sam'an. We said, Allah's Messenger, how long will he stay on earth? He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, for 40 days, one day like a year, one day like a month, one day like a week, and the rest of the days will be like your days. It will only be at the very end of his life on earth, therefore, that Dajjal's day will be like our day. Secondly, Dajjal, the false Messiah, will be in our dimension of time when his day would be like our day. Hence, he would be in our world only at the very end of his life, when he enters into our world in order to complete his mission of impersonating the Messiah. The promise of Allah Most High was that the Messiah would rule the world from the throne of David alayhi salam, i.e., from a Jerusalem that would be the heart of the state of Israel. And so it's clear that Dajjal will be physically located in Jerusalem at the very end of his life on earth. And at that time, since his day would be like our day, it would be possible for us to see him. At that time, we would see him as a Jew, a young man, powerfully built with curly hair. He would also have to be the ruler of Israel, who would rule the world from Jerusalem. Here is the answer to the question concerning the strategic role that Jerusalem is destined to play in the end of history. Prior to that, he will be around us in as much the same way that angels and jinn are always around us, and yet they are not in our world in a day like our day, and hence are not visible. He will work constantly. He will constantly attack us to test our faith. He'll be weaving his web of deception, but we won't be able to observe him with our normal faculties of observation, since his day will not be like our day.